No, it was very interesting that you would choose this spot of all places to have a meeting.
So a lot of legislation's written nowadays. I am contemplating having a mechanism by which, if public confidence drops too low, that at a staged level, Blaine County Sheriff's Office loses their privilege to patrol down in Los Santos County. Patrol meaning traffic stops. With the final and worst case being an outright they are not to work down here at all. How those stages get chopped up, how that public confidence would be evaluated, would be up for discussion. But the reason why I'm even considering this, like, and the best way that I can put this is like this is something that I definitely dramatized many months ago over the stunts that were being pulled. However, the reason why this is even being considered again is just kind of what's transpired over the last 2 weeks. People are getting shot. We got hop out Helen situation recently. Another case up on the docket, February 7th.
Wait, what the fuck happened with Helen?
She last week, allegedly, she hopped out of the vehicle and just mag dumped somebody, including Jay Hobbs, that was screaming, don't shoot me, I'm not shooting, I don't got a gun. There's another case from February 7th. It's up on the docket. I thought it was a situation from last week, but it turns out it's a different one altogether. We got my situation. I've yet to hear any sort of resolution for. We have a case with Mr. Juan Carlos Hernandez. We have
Remind me the case with Mr. Hernandez.
Traffic stop by Maze Bank Arena.
Is that the one you told me to contact him about?
Yes.
I contacted him. He couldn't remember it, so I'm actually not aware of that one.
Interesting. I'll have to re-engage him. I think the key word is Maze Bank. There was a primary left, and then Quangle tried to escalate. There is the situation with Mason Dixie. Which, yeah, he's dead, but that doesn't absolve what he was actively doing as a member of law enforcement. You combine that with the case with myself, where we have a known, guy that was hunting ADMC and tried to play vigilante, and, what's coming out of that. And now I'm hearing about this public crash out of Bruce Collins and Captain Alice Watson and Lieutenant Bruce Collins in a case in which they press charges and they end up dropping them because fuck the DOJ.
That's ridiculous.
When I sort of look at like the sum of everything, right? I just don't. It's a very nasty culture that they've created, and I don't want their bullshit anywhere near my county. And I think that's where this public confidence thing comes into play, is they freely There's no accountability. They don't care about people. They care about their own fucking rank and being able to do what they want. And I want a process in which if they do fuck around down here and act anything other than law enforcement, that we just cast them out. And if the problem resolves itself, then let them continue patrolling. Until then, I just see them as an outside force that is quite frankly destabilizing the state. So that's kind of why I said, Turner, I want you to sort of, in the back of your mind, be prepared for that reality. That reality may come.
I think it's I think you understand what my stance is. I think we have to be able to work hand in hand out there. But if they're here doing the things they're doing and there's no repercussions for it,
yeah,
that's a whole nother situation.
Yeah,
no, there does need to be repercussions for people's actions, and obviously, as you know, that's out of our hands with their actions to an extent in terms of interdepartmental. I would. Picture perfect. They sort things out. They get people online, and we don't have to worry about any sort of jurisdictional situations here.
It's exactly that, right? We had Junior got shot earlier today. That situation resolved within 2 hours. Opal D Maxwell came through. Victim was satisfied. We're gonna have a chat with him. Done and done. You know what I mean? The redemption for Blaine County, the bar is very low. So, but what happened in your own words in the meeting yesterday? As I've heard from some parties, I've heard from some perspectives. I wanted to hear from yours because you're pretty balanced.
Yeah, I think there's some airing out of people's opinions as to how DOJ has been.
Like what caused it? Like what was the series of events?
I was trying to think of what led up to it. You remember, Peters?
Yeah, I do. Somebody went up in front of the meeting and said, it was Doc Masters went up and said, look, this is a reminder. Just because you can press charges doesn't mean you should. Only press charges you think you can get a conviction in court with. At which point Alice said, if you have a problem, why don't you say it to my face and call me out directly? And I said, look, I'm all for naming and shaming. And then then Bruce Collins piped up and said, well, you know what? It doesn't even matter because the DOJ wouldn't be able to fucking convict anyone, or they wouldn't convict anyone anyway. And I mean, this guy's, I don't.
Bruce keeps ending up in ICU, making Aaron do all the work from what I've seen.
Well, his track record in court, I've never seen him win a court case.
That's if he shows up.
That's actually a very good recollection. I couldn't recollect it like that. That was exactly what happened.
Yeah. So anyway, and then it went back and forth. The DOJ then got up, and Grayson got up very professionally and said, "Look, like there is no from my perspective, all I do is I make the calls as I see them. I don't favor the police department. I don't favor the criminals. I just favor the law." And they got pretty pissed, and it's just victim mentality bullshit. It's like,
it is.
You guys probably fucked up in a court case. You didn't like the outcome. I mean, it's happened in the past, and instead of people reflecting it like, hey, what could I have done better to?
It's if you took the Saints explaining why they keep losing shootouts in their gang wars. Like that's a good reflection of what I'm hearing Blaine County doing.
I don't know anything about that. So.
No?
I don't. I haven't been around. Why did Saints?
What do you mean?
Listen,
it's been going on the last 6-9 months.
I stay away from the Saints at all costs because it's another situation where I think I've talked to 2 of them and it's Peters equals bad.
Speaking on some of that there though, I agree with what Grayson said there. I agree that that's a stance they should have. Is that always the stance DOJ takes? I think we all know that's not the case. I understand how they could be frustrated. It's just not the place and time to do it. So
it's very dangerous too, because that is a active case. That's a presiding judge on the case.
which case is even being questioned here or being brought up?
Appeal Leon Edwards, report number 13469.
Mind if I look at that real quick?
Yep, go ahead.
13469 or 14469?
13469.
Okay, it's crazy. 14469 is a fucking Hydra case I was dealing with today.
Okay.
So charges for gang-related shooting were pressed. Leon Edwards appealed it. In the appeal, it says on 12/03/2025, Leon Edwards was charged with a singular count of gang-related shooting. Mr. Edwards and the defense feels the evidence to support this claim is beyond insufficient, as evidence points to the defendant not firing a shot, not having a weapon, etc., etc. Actually, the funny thing is, I don't even think they could have appealed that. Wait, what the fuck?
I mean, you don't have to.
Oh,
be
this might
charged.
be. You know what this might be? This might be. He might be using EU timestamps.
In
So it's
terms
probably-
of.
Because it says on 12/03/2025. This probably means 3/12/2025.
That's correct. Yeah, it is.
But so
They're appealing
anyways,
it, right? It's not criminal charges. They're appealing
correct.
it.
Yes.
So that doesn't apply to statute of limitations, right?
Oh my God,
Well,
that's
that
a
is-
whole nother topic, brother. It's most of the.
Where do
Great
they
question.
post that appeal?
Statute. It's within statute. Yeah.
It's within statute. Okay.
Yeah.
They posted over 12 days ago.
It was posted on April 11th.
Okay. Yeah, one day before then.
Yep. Captain Alice Watson motions for a summary judgment. A rebuttal is made. Grayson says no. This is going to go to trial. And Watson goes, understood. I'm going to drop the charges.
Okay. I need to pull this up on my phone here. You might tell me the name of the case for me, please.
The
Jesus Christ.
13469.
It's on the docket though.
Sorry, this is. Hey, how you doing, Ashura?
Hey, how's it going?
Very good. Can I call you back?
Yeah,
Awesome. All right.
Leon Edwards.
works
these
for
shirts.
me.
All
All right, bye-bye.
Take it. Oof. Bank truck? No, it's got to be bigger than a bank truck. I would
What is
say
Nope, it's a van truck.
it is. And
Yep.
I'm assuming, hold on. This is going to be an ambush, given how fast it happened. So I'm thinking it's either going to be down in Cyprus, in those confined
This one's
areas.
unique. I would say
Del
you
Perro?
wouldn't pick this.
Here?
Close.
Ooh, close. Maybe the resort? But
In
if
the
it,
tunnel below Del Perro.
okay. Well, you know.
I'm not sure how they got a bank truck down there.
So inside the tunnel system underground?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it looks that way. Looks like the canals, yeah.
So, and just to underline this, law enforcement deciding like, hey, we don't have enough, right? That's going to happen, right? I get that, right? You go, I get you guys deal with so much shit. You know, something goes to appeal, you look at it and you're like, I don't think we have enough. We're going to drop the charges, right? Like that is reasonable. For me, it's what happened in that meeting that is concerning to me, right? Because the underline there is now all of a sudden it's not, hey, we're dropping the charges because, hey, we didn't have enough. It's dropping the charges because they're dog shit cops. And that's how I read it. Because if you're popping off about the DOJ and crying about this, when Grayson very much could have ruled, created case law, when they have the opportunity that if they have problem with gang-related shootings to push for legislative change, and you're just crying, fuck you, fuck your entire establishment, I hope you get the plague. So...
Okay, I want to confirm here because I didn't have the context on what was being said in there.
Yeah.
So now that I'm getting context, so they're dropping charges based on the fact that they don't believe the DOJ is quote unquote competent. Is that essentially what I'm gathering?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that can't be happening.
Yeah. That's
Still got to follow through with their job no matter what our opinion is of the DOJ.
Yeah, it's and I want a bit more context here. How often, when is the last time you guys lost a case that was like, how do I put this? PD, I watch the docket a lot. Go to a lot of court cases. Have you guys like really lost any cases where it was like the ruling was so astronomically bizarre? I think it's been the other way around. Like this aiding and abetting situation recently, that was hella cooked. We had the case with where aiding and abetting came from. That was cooked, but case law came out of it. So like where is PD, like what, like I don't think you guys are losing cases because of the DOJ.
I think there's a couple big ones that stick out, which is the situation with in the past at least, and
yeah.
at least stick out to me. Which is a Hawkins situation. Those charges, I know
The
that
Grayson
was a whole
one?
deal after. Yeah,
Sure.
I know that was a whole deal after. I believe that got resolved.
Mhm.
I believe. The situation with warrants being overturned, I know hurt a lot of
That's
people.
bad. I agree with that.
It hurt a lot of people. Now, in no
So
way,
then
shape,
they
or
should
form
do
am I saying,
something
is that
about it.
enough? Right.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm trying to do at least. I mean, obviously at the officer level, they're not, but I am at my level, which is that letter and trying to get a response.
Yeah.
Which I'm pretty much going to give them a few more days. I'm going to be putting up an ACR against all the justices.
Yeah. Oh,
their elective duties.
Good. Oh, it gets worse. I'll pass that. They're not giving the marshals any money. So we're going to be resolving that, my office, soon. What is this 8-1 thing?
I mean, I just wonder at the point, there's been so many ACRs, so many issues.
Wait.
That when are things going to actually change? When is there going to be any adjustments? It seems like, I guess we're kind of going off topic here a little bit, but
No, please. It's fine.
There's been so many impeachments, so many ACRs, so much talking, so much communication or attempted communication with the DOJ. I've spoken to several judges, a justice. I was told, I asked the I think a very realistic question, which is, while they are not around, how active are they behind the scenes? Because you can still be very involved and very active, not always around. Well, I was told they were. But I was told that was around the time of all the impeachments, all the ACRs, the governor coming around.
In the last 6 months, when the governor comes around, they work for a week, and then they disappear. Is there a little bit more activity?
That's what I'm told.
Yeah, and we are going to be pushing. We did a lot of work, a lot of it. I was waiting until after the elections because I don't like to push things during election week. I think it looks bad. But we're going to be pushing for a reformation on how justices come into power And there's a lot of conversation around that right now, which I'm not going to get into. But the idea is there should probably only be 3 justices. And to start, how we handle that there's 5 now, that's open for debate, right? We haven't gone full deep into this. But the idea is that their part of their mandate is expanding their lineup, right? And that justices, the seats expand based on the amount of judges that are active. Makes sense, right? The more judges you have, the more justices you need to manage them. Then the next thing is that they serve 3 months, after which they need to be reaffirmed in. And that when that reformation happens, it becomes a vote, a weighted vote by the authorities and the non-felon community. So,
Why do they not have a chief justice?
because
One
they're
person leading the charge and setting a vision and holding people accountable.
I made that argument 6 months ago, and they are the problem is that, in my opinion, understandably, the state officials don't see what's going on a day-to-day basis, and as a consequence of that, they are able to lie to him, right? They can pretend like when the impeachments went out, all of a sudden, all this activity spurred up, right? So you could imagine if their assessment is being reviewed, it's like, oh yeah, they're doing this and they're doing that, but the reality is they only did it that week. So I do think that their charade has kind of come to a halt. Sorry for speaking so low. I'm trying to pick the right choice of words so my words don't get twisted around here. But you make a very fair observation, Turner. I think the problem is, the real issue is there's been too much brain drain. I think that's the reality. It's also why we've been very mitten-gloved, because we're afraid that if we push too hard, they may completely disappear, and who's left to replace them? If I'm going to be honest.
I mean that's a problem too. Just because you remove someone doesn't mean the next person's better.
Yeah, they're just yeah. It's a self-created problem too, because the DOJ has been inept. There hasn't been enough law schools. There aren't new lawyers. There aren't enough magistrates. I mean, there was no competition in the recent elections. And because of that, there's no one to replace, because we're not building up, like with law enforcement, right? You guys are always FTOing. You got new cadets. So you've always got new people that are building up that in the future could be your next sergeants and seniors and whatever. The DOJ doesn't have that, right? So we're left with a bunch of incompetent fucks, but that's all there is, right? So we're trying to do what we can to help the system, but anyways, let's kind of pull back to the original topic.
All right.
So just straight from the horse's mouth, my goal is not let's just kick them all out. My goal is, if you're going to be in the county, you need to be held accountable, right? In the same way that LSPD is held accountable. And y'all have been doing fantastic. And I want to see the same shit from them if they plan to operate down here. Right? Otherwise, no one's going to trust the institutes, right? Whether it's the police department or the Department of Justice, right? The last 2 weeks, yikes. That's all I can think. So.
Yeah, I'm not for or on board for the way that they've been acting. My hands have definitely been tied in terms of their repercussions. Of course, we've spoken since then, yourself and myself. in terms of the jurisdictional aspect of it, which while I am not a fan for going that direction, I understand a need for that. At some point, there has to be a line drawn. I'm hoping this new sheriff, whoever it is, actually has a bit more of a heavier hand involved in holding people accountable, and this can all be avoided. But I understand that that's not here yet. We don't know what's coming, and we need to prepare for the worst, I guess you could say.
Exactly that. Yeah. Their need to fear the public, right? That if they cross lines, they're fucked, right? And right now it seems like these people think they're untouchable, and that's so dangerous. Right?
I don't know if fear is a word, but I know what you're trying to get at.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Listen, they need not be idiots, is what it is.
Yeah.
They need to respect people. They need to understand law, not violate people's rights. Policing 101, basically.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
And then there needs to be repercussions for said incidents.
Agreed.
So your plan is to put this into legislation?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And
I mean, I could just be like, Turner, ban them. You're to run all scenes, hold your jurisdiction in Los Santos County. But instead, because we can do that, right? The mechanism already exists in legislation.
Yep.
But my reason for having something more of a process makes it so we're putting the ball in their court and saying, if you get ripped out of the county, it's your own fault. You knew what the laws, you knew what the rules were.
everyone knows the rules. Yeah.
Exactly.
At that point.
So,
I'd be interested to see what it looks like, what's worked up, and
Yep.
see how that looks on paper.
Yep. Easy.
I'd also be interested. Yeah, again, the only person I've heard is Duncan Fenwell being brought up for sheriff. That's all I've heard of.
I
Not a lot that I've heard. But he has mentioned to me that he wants more accountability. What that looks like, though, we'll never know. A lot of people can talk and talk, but once they're in the position, it's we'll see if they follow through with it.
it's
But like I said, yeah, something like this makes sense to have in your back pocket.
Yep.
In place.
1,000%.
Anything,
Can I
Peters?
ask you a question, actually?
Sure, go for it.
Why don't you like the term fear when Nino says fear the public? I'm curious.
You shouldn't fear the public. That's the people you're serving.
Well, I think it's in the context of fearing reprisal, right? Which kind of ties into account. Now, I'm not here to say that I don't think you believe in accountability. In fact, I believe you do believe in
I think-
accountability. But that risk of reprisal when you do fuck around, right? The find out is important.
I think
Perhaps fear isn't the right word, but
I
reprisal.
think we're arguing semantics is what it is, right?
I was just
People
curious.
should be held accountable. Ultimately.
Of course.
People
yeah.
should be.
It's
Yeah.
yeah.
In that context, yeah, fear could be used, but I do believe accountability is extremely important. As that's the way we run our department, and we're not seeing a whole lot of that.
Yeah.
I agree.
I just wanted to understand.
So I got the charge. I think you gave it to Michael. The PD wipe charge, whatever it's going to be called. I actually agree with the number 12. I think that's the number you guys landed on, right?
Yeah, 12 was put forward by the PD. It's been referenced in the past that there's historical context for 8. To me, I'm indifferent.
I think 12 is a good number. I agree with it. It needs to be high enough that it just isn't slapping right away. Like the number, you don't accidentally hit 12, right?
Yeah.
While at the same time, if that we're gonna push that forward here soon. soon, probably sometime next week after this build shit. If there are concerns, I ask as LSPD High Command, if BCSO keeps crying about legislation, please direct them to how they can alter it if you could. Because
You say it keeps crying about what legislation are they talking
well,
about currently?
there was more conversation with Grayson over gang-related shootings. What was the other one? Do you remember, Michael? What was the other one? They were
Is it aiding and abetting? Was it?
No, that was a different one.
God, there's been quite a few lately, actually.
The Grayson context went further because they were crying over the gang-related shooting charge. So instead of going through, writing an alternative, appealing it, pushing it to the docket, like, they just dropped the case
Was this during?
afterwards.
Afterwards, okay.
I got you, man. By the way, Chad, if you're new to the channel, be to slap that follow button.
You
Also,
can do that.
yo, let's get those subs, baby. Get that sick badge. Support your streamer. All right. Anything else we want to discuss? Okay.
You're backing Duncan, aren't you?
I don't even know who's going up. I think the entire BCSO just needs to be wiped. I'm gonna keep it a buck. So
That's what I'm
whoever's
trying to do.
Oh, wait, you're running?
Yeah, I'm going to literally, if I get sheriff, the very first thing I'm do is knocking everyone down to deputy.
Okay. That makes sense.
I want to hear this, but I need to step away for just a moment here.
Mm-hmm.
I apologize. Give me just a moment.
We
But
talked about
continue.
we talked about this. We talked about this in the car the other day before you had Oblivion Golf Brain.
Oh my god, that game is just. I want to like it. I really do.
It's really that big of a bummer.
It's combat is 90% of the game, and they had an opportunity. There's two issues. One is the hardest difficulty, which I like playing on,
Yeah,
is broken.
telling me about this.
And the second hardest is still broken. But then you put it back to normal on one notch up on difficulty, you die one shot. If you put it to normal, you kill in one shot.
Yeah.
So therefore there isn't really any skill. It's either grind like cheese kills on the hard or insta murk everyone on normal. There is no feeling of skill. There is no skill. It's just left click on normal. So it ruins that feeling of wanting to get more powerful because you're never going to get more powerful, or you're never going to, it's just left click, right click. You can't stagger. So let me give you an idea, right? Let's say I attack you with a heavy swing. You fucking iframe the enemy. NPCs will iframe your attack and hit you through it. It literally feels like an indie game in terms of.
But isn't that Bethesda? Isn't that what they always do?
Okay, but
Bethesda games always broken in the beginning. Am I tripping?
that sounds like the worst excuse.
It's not an excuse. I'm
No,
just
I
saying,
know,
why
but that's
would you
why-
expect better?
Yeah, Bethesda's a dead company. You're right. It really is.
Well, no,
It's like
I mean,
they fuck out Fallout 76, and then Starfield is fucking dog shit, right? And now this. They had such a great opportunity. Everything looks great. UI is great. All these things are amazing. It's like, how didn't you just hire even... They could have literally paid, went through an indie, like, it's an Unreal 5. So in other words, they could have literally hired or bought a studio that already solved combat in first and third person and said, implement your game Like they could have bought out a company and said, implement your combat into our game. Literally all they need is a parry system and to make the enemy stagger if hit first. That's it.
Yeah.
It's so bad. So it's why I couldn't play anymore. Like I'm thinking, wait, what's his name? Is what's his name even playing?
Who? Sawyer?
Sawyer. Yeah,
I have no idea.
I don't think he is. He was back today.
He's
Bro,
back.
I was gone. I was gonna be gone for a week. It's so bad. Like, why the fuck would I play a game where I'm if the combat doesn't matter? That means 90%. Why even do the combat? You know what I mean?
That's a good point.
At that point, you're just walking around listening to dialogue and seeing what's the prize at the end. I'd rather play PoE 2 and that update people complain about. At least that's, you know, I feel like I'm being challenged. Instead, the game is challenged. You know what I mean? So, you don't want to hear my theory? Todd Howard used to care like he was Shigeru Miyamoto. It was Hideo Kojima. You know, people that actively played the game during development and gave good feedback. I think Todd Howard stopped giving a shit after Skyrim. And so when Todd Howard went to go sit down during Oblivion, because this guy stopped gaming, I think he played the demo and he's like, oh man, this is better than I remember. But the thing is, he stopped playing video games. So hasn't played Elden Ring. He hasn't played all these other games that have advanced the genre. So when he played it, he's like, oh, this is so much better than the original. People will love this, and just put a stamp of approval. So
Apologies for that.
you're good. Yep.
Okay. Well, regardless, it's good to have you around.
Yeah. Todd Howard saved San Andreas.
Who's Todd Howard?
The dumb fuck over at Bethesda that doesn't care about the quality of his releases anymore.
I see.
He ruined my birthday.
That's crazy.
Well,
Yeah.
no, hold on.
He
Did you have a
ruined
good
my
time
birthday.
on your birthday? Did you have a good time on your birthday?
I
though?
did when Oblivion came out, and then it was shit.
It was shit the very
I was
first
crashing
day?
out on Twitter. Like we're like, oh my God, it's a 20-year-old game. I'm like, shut the fuck up. This game sucks.
Yeah, I just think it's the magic. I feel like the magic. Everybody wants.
I was
to relive
getting
the
mad
past,
in my
but-
chat. Like it was like at how frustrated I was on my birthday. They made me do that. They made me cry. Todd Howard made me crash out on my birthday.
Well, you know, that's nothing like a birthday crash out. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I was thinking about the whole Duncan thing. I just I think Duncan's a nice guy and he wants to implement things. I just don't know. I still don't think he has the background. I told him that. I didn't say that.
So you
but-
put your name forward?
Yeah, I replied.
Oh, so it's him, Duncan, you, Duncan. Who else?
I would assume myself, Duncan, Cassidy, or Aspen, which I don't think Aspen has a chance.
Oh,
I think
Aspen screwed. Cassidy would be cooked.
Yeah, well, I think the Duncan's undersheriff is a guy named O'Neill. That he wants to bring in. And then he wants to bring Bison in as a captain. So that's currently what we're working with right now.
All right. So when you're sheriff, what's your plans?
Well, I think the very first thing I do is I have to find somebody like a Stevie Hale to come in as undersheriff. I'm not sure if she would be the position.
You
but
want to
I'd
put the law enforcement officer that went up on the stand with Trig and lied? Sounds like a
What?
great starting
What do you mean
point.
she lied? What do you mean she lied?
Brother,
Hang on, forget Hale. You said Trig. Trig lied.
yes. That, well, to be fair, Trig was brain damaged during all of it. One of the probably now number one, the only reason it didn't become embarrassing is because what's it called? Tony had probably one of the worst showings as a defense attorney. So you ready for this? Stevie Hale and Trig inferred that they had zero involvement on the decisions that led to the mag dumping of Hades. This is the court case that took place last week. So it went like this. You remember the one? Actually, you know about this. Remember the whole thing that that caused issues between me and Moss, where I'm like, "Hey, you guys need to do something about this."
Yep.
And I was like, "Why?" He's like, "Why are you talking to Maxwell?" Well, she's the only one around. We got to figure out what the fuck's going on. And then she didn't want to do anything with Trig, and then da 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 da. Now you're the chief. So Stevie on the stand said she did not, she was not a part of the decision making, and that they're going to trust their officers. The problem is that Stevie told me she made the call to open fire. She also told this to Frost.
You're talking about,
and it was on radio.
Was it the you're saying it was the Fleeka? Is this the Hades mag dump Fleeka where they fucking started getting mad? And is that the mag dump situation you're talking about?
Which, sorry, say again?
What Hades mag dump situation are you talking about?
They wanted a
robbery?
sandwich. The hostage.
Yes, it's not what happened, but yes. Okay.
What happened?
They got mad. They didn't get a cop response, so then they started demanding more officers be there. Like,
You're talking about the one on
Hawick Avenue.
County, right?
Were you there?
Hawick.
Okay.
No, this is the situation that I talked
Were you
to him
there,
about.
Peters?
No, I wasn't there.
So it's he said, she said, right?
Yeah. You know what? Yeah,
So-
it's he said, she said.
Yeah. But the core issue is mag dumping people in the vehicle.
Yeah,
Right?
you're right. They shouldn't, especially especially when they're not a threat at that point. Like, how do you articulate Tennessee versus Garmin in that situation?
Exactly. So
I don't think you're wrong in that. I don't think you're wrong, but
yeah.
Again, he said, she said. I didn't know she lied on the stand. I have no idea.
Yeah. So she gave the order on radio. I know this because other officers already told me this. She told me that she made the call. It's not he said, she said at that point. Your own law enforcement is saying it. So she went up on the stand and said that the call was made by Bean. She had nothing to do with it. She just trusted. So
Was it? Okay, yeah. I don't know. It was told to me that he made the call. I don't know, but if she made it.
yeah. So anyways.
Or regardless, you know, I don't know.
Yeah.
Unfortunate if she did. Do you think it's possible she misremembered? Stevie doesn't seem the one. She doesn't seem like one to just lie or try to, but it could be wrong.
Yeah. Anyways. Okay.
Regardless, yeah. So I mean, back to that whole thing. I think I'd fucking literally I'd demote everyone to deputy, and I would sit down and I would figure out what rank everybody wants to be. I'd have to interview every single person for the rank they'd want to be. I'd look over past incidences and see if they're able to perform the duties and kind of figure out what they're able to contribute to the BCSO to succeed as a whole. The other thing I would like to see is more presence in the county, regardless, is
True.
We have an overwhelming number of BCSO that immediately drive down to the city. And it's like, there's a shitload of stuff that happens up north that nobody ever takes care of. I don't know how many times I've seen a Polito bank robbery go off while the BCSO are chasing an well, I shouldn't kind of generalizing in this, but you know, a situation will happen in the South and I see a ton of BCSO down here and there's nothing prioritizing their county, whether it's banks, the Polito robbery, bank trucks, I don't know.
Humane Labs.
Yeah,
incidents over there. Yep.
So
I was in the vehicle with Maxwell during a gun deal that nobody responded to, including Blaine County. Then she got fucking yelled at for responding. Brother, they had a fucking active gun deal.
Maxwell got yelled at.
Yeah.
By who?
I went on a ride along with a fucking, oh my God. I don't know. I'm not on cop radio. It was her and a fucking cadet. They sat there for like 10 minutes while there was a gun deal in the building. No one came. I was like, holy shit, that's crazy.
A gun deal.
Yes, there was 911 saying, hey, we believe there's an active gun deal taking place inside of Humane Labs. And no one showed up. There was like, I forgot what I had asked. There was like 15, there was like 10 units, maybe 15 cops on duty. And we sat there and I was just like laughing. I'm like, wait, hold on. There's a gun deal inside and people are willing to break off of this. That's cooked. And then one cop drove in the direction, so like up there, and she ended up getting shot at the 24/7 right across from the Humane Lab. So they did that. Cop decided to go to the 24/7 instead of backing up Maxwell for a gun deal. And then while all this is happening, then the prison gets broken into. So it's just, I don't know, it's crazy. Anyways, so yeah.
When was this?
A week and a half ago. And you can understand from my perspective, right? Class 2 problem, literal gun deal happening in here, and
Yeah, I was just getting on our officers to start investigating it, figure things out, and it's not. That's sure.
Yeah.
We seized 500 Class 2s over the last 39 days or something along those lines. Whatever the case may be.
500.
Where are they coming from, though? That's the important part.
Jesus. I mean, fuck.
You go to the head of the snake, right?
Yep.
Cut the head
Yep.
off.
Agreed.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been so long. Who fucking knows how even that shit works? I mean, for all you know, I mean, imagine how much they could have advanced whatever the fuck they do. You know what I mean? It might be too late now.
What
These
might be too late?
these motherfuckers probably have such an insane network that, like, the first layer, the second layer, the third layer is all obfuscated at this stage. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're not wrong. Hey, you ever hear about the politician in California who was writing the gun laws to drive the prices of illegal firearms up?
Really?
Yeah, I can't remember his name. It's a true story. Sounds like something out of a movie, but essentially what he was doing is he was the one that was altering the gun laws and then working with like the Chinese triad or some shit to drive up the price of a
Triads are Japanese.
Okay, the Chinese whatever. I don't know what it is. And
Wait, is it? Wait, it is.
Just
Triads
whatever,
are
but-
Japanese, right?
I thought it was China. I'm not
You might be
sure.
right. You might be right.
Chinese are the triads. You're thinking Yakuza.
Ah, yes.
So, but yeah, he was essentially altering gun laws to drive the price of illegal weaponry up because he was kind of the one brokering the deals. Sounds like something out of like Lethal Weapon, you know, but turns out it's real life.
Ah, it's crazy.
Yep.
All right.
There's no no mercy in my mind when you got politicians playing these games for their own personal gain, right?
Yeah. Agreed. Maybe that's why we don't see the justices.
Yeah, it's probably. I mean, fuck. It's.
They embezzled a bunch of money, do they not?
Apparently, they bought like helicopters and a bunch of other shit and said, fuck you to the marshals.
Have boats.
I haven't
and
looked
shit.
into
And
it.
They do work into the shadows quite a bit, right?
I will say that them buying shit like that, some of them been around for a minute. So, I mean, you got a boat, I got a boat. What the fuck are we
that's
going to
true.
spend money on? But I heard the plane was $9 million.
Oh, Jesus.
What did justices make?
A lot.
Yeah.
I originally was going to give bonuses for my cabinet for $5,000 an hour. And then Barrett tells me, what do you mean 5,000? We get paid $250,000 a week. I was like,
$250,000 a week.
I was like, what the
Does
fuck?
that require you to
I got
Walk into
42
work,
grand in
or-
my account.
Apparently not.
okay?
It's like their weekly allowance.
Mm-hmm.
That's 71 hours of work for us, huh?
Yep.
70, 71, 72, something like that.
Is it really?
Yeah. I think we make pretty decent money myself.
No, I was spending my money on things for the department.
Yeah, I mean, me too. But
What are you gonna do? Okay, yeah, well,
Yep.
that's it.
All right. Well,
I think I'm gonna check my notes here real quick, see if I got anything I need to bring up with you. No, it's all Marshall things I need to talk to them about.
all right. Easy. Okay.
All right. Is there anything else that y'all want to cover here while we're here?
No, not really. I
Peters
think
or-
that's been my main thing is just the be prepared in case we do got to ban them type shit. It's probably going to be staged anyways. I just want them to feel like, hey, if we don't treat people right, it can come and bite us in the ass well before an impeachment or ACR. Because while I think those are good mechanisms, it doesn't resolve people's issues in a timely enough fashion. And hopefully they take a page out of y'all's book on how you handle accountability, because y'all been doing great.
You want this kept quiet? Or if I end up having a conversation and accountability comes up with them, am I able to bring it up that it's coming?
No, because I don't trust them. I think they're just going to use it as a way to do some dumb shit.
All right. Sounds good.
Yep.
Actually, I do have one thing, and that was a 1.9 million.
Oh, yes.
I don't think
I
it's transferred
apologize. I completely blanked on that. I'll send that tonight.
Okay.
Can you send me a text message right now? Hey, reminder for money, just so it shows up green on my text so I don't.
Sure can.
Awesome.
Something simple there.
Easy. Thank you very much.
Absolutely.
All right.
All right. I think we'll head down to make sure officers are
All right.
getting the help they need down there on the beach then at this point.
Hell yeah. All right.
All right. Appreciate y'all's time.
Absolutely.
Y'all take care, all right?
Take care. Take care.
Thank you.
All right, we'll see you guys. Have a good day.
Yep.
Thanks, Peter.
Take care.
Shit, I'm about to sign up for the marshals and work part-time for the marshals.
No, you got to get sheriff.
Turner wants him as sheriff. Oh, yeah.